I'm Wolf Blitzum, and welcome to Privy Conversation, the show where we begin having a civilized conversation and conclude with everyone yelling at each other. Tea will be spilled, voices raised, and lawsuits filed. Today's topic is the book To Live. This phenomenal book turned movie is taking all of Miss Basketball's classes by storm. Here to discuss with us, Adjunct Professor of Cinematic Works at NYU, Professor Dr. Anaya Harrison. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Wolf, but please call me Professor.
Alongside her, we have communist dentist Yo Hua. Yo Hua nowadays is spending more time putting words in his character's mouth than tools. He has become a well-known author in many parts due to this work we are here to discuss today.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to some good old-fashioned raillery between the professor and as I discuss my book.
Hello, Mr. Hua, but please call me Doctor.
Now, for those of you who have not read the book, like Gia, could you, Mr. Hua, give us a brief summary of the literary masterpiece?
Gladly. The book follows the life of Fu Gui, a wealthy man turned farmer that suffers through both the Chinese Civil War and the Cultural Revolution, famine, and the loss of many, well, more along the lines of his beloved family members. The book sheds light on trials and tribulations of China in the 20th century, the side of China that the Chinese government doesn't want you to see. That is my reason why my book was, for a while, banned in China. You see, Wolf, at times, communist leaders can be poltroons, so scared of their citizens' opinions, they have to feel the need to censor authors like me.
I'm very sorry to hear that the world was deprived of your story. Now, Dr. Harrison, would you like to comment on the plot of the movie?
Sure, Wolf, but please call me Professor. Anyway, the film is about the life of Fu Gui and his family. Fu Gui loses all of his money gambling and becomes a peasant in the city. He later creates a theater troupe and enlists in the army. Hard times fall on Fu Gui's family, but this never stops Fu Gui from giving up hope for a better life.
Professor, if I may.
Please, call me Doctor.
What? Sure, whatever. Anyway, like I was saying, I believe that the movie completely strives away from my book.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there, Mr. Hua and Dr. Harris.
Please, call me Professor.
Professor Harrison. Before we move on, our comparison and contrast segment of the show, we're going to get a quick word in from our sponsors.
Attention! If you are fed 7 buns and given hot tea without your verbal consent, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
Hi, I'm Jiya Patel from the Patel and Smith Injury Prevention Law Firm. If you or a loved one died getting too much bread, obtaining too much grain, or eating too much yeast, I'm here to defend you. Call Patel Smith today. Don't wait. Call now.
Welcome back to Privy Conversation. I am Wolf Blitzum. I'm joined here with Dr.
Please, call me Professor.
Harrison and Mr. Hua, who I've been told drank Red Bull for the first time during commercial break.
Hi, Wolf. Currently, I have the force of close to 1,000 suns flowing through me, so let's get it.
Alright, well I think it is time to address the elephant, or should I say ox, in the room. The book has many similarities and differences. Let's compare them. Mr. Hua, would you like to start off?
Gladly. One main difference between my book and the film is the location of Fu Gui's residency. In my story, Fu Gui and his family live on a farm compared to living in the city. This amplifies the amount of suffering the family goes through as they slowly starve to death in the barren wasteland of their own unfruitful property. In the movie, Fu Gui is constantly surrounded by money in the city. Would you like to defend your film, Professor?
Mr. Hua, I would much rather you call me Doctor. There's no getting around the fact that there are differences between the two, but the main question is, does it change the plot significantly? If you look back in the story, both Yo Qing and Feng Jia die similar deaths.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor.
Please, call me Professor Wolf.
Okay, well, correct me if I'm wrong, Professor, but aren't the subtle differences in the deaths of Fu Gui children that might change the overall circumstances of the story from maybe just unfortunate to rather gruesome?
Yes, Wolf. What the professor...
Please, Mr. Hua, call me Doctor.
Damn it, woman, make up your mind. What the Dr. Professor fails to realize is that even though the deaths are similar, they lose some of their meaning with their slight differences. In my story, in the movie I suppose, Yo Qing dies by the indirect hand of Chung Seng. That is how their similarities end, however. As in the movie, Chung Seng accidentally drives into the back of a building, while in the book, Yo Qing is literally drained of all his blood to save Chung Seng's wife. I made sure to show the reader exactly how similar their deaths were when Fu Gui talks about how, quote, his 2 children died during childbirth, Yo Qing during someone else's, and Feng Jia's during her own.
It appears that you have two of very polarizing views on the book and the movie. Is there anything that you can agree on?
Well, I'm sure we can both agree on the fact that Fugway is a terrible gambler. In both the book and the movie, he loses his family fortune this way. Fugway is crushed when he has to tell his family that they have lost all their money. Quote, even if he wanted to gamble, he wouldn't have had the money to stake a bet.
Very true. Mr. Hua, was there anything in the movie that disappointed you?
Yes, there were two main things. The first thing is the ending. I mean, come on! How can you end a movie with a happy family sitting in a circle surrounded by their chicks? Urxie doesn't get his head smashed. Jizan doesn't finally succumb to her slow, painful death. Of all the deaths, however, I am very upset by the fact that Coogan did not choke on the bean. This was supposed to be the most heart-wrenching, as he choked on it only because he had never experienced food like beans before.
Who is Coogan?
Coogan means bitter root and is Fugway's grandson. In the movie, he is portrayed as Little Bun, another difference. Along with Fugway not bringing the ox home at the end of the story, my next complaint would have to be how the movie portrays communism. Communism in China has oppressed, starved, and killed more people than I would wish to count. In the story, everything seems on the up and up in the city. Food is widely available, jobs are plentiful. In actuality, food is very hard to come by, and jobs even harder.
Thank you for providing this very valuable insight. Alright, once again we're heading to commercial. We will return and to discuss theme after another quick word from our sponsors.
Strong, tough, proud. These men and women wake up early to work through a gamut of responsibilities just to put food on our table. It's time they get the credit they rightfully deserve. Thank you, American farmers, for not making us fight each other for a singular sweet potato.
And remember, kids, the only thing worse than finding a worm in your potato is communism.
It was paid for by the Coalition of American Potato Farmers that also campaign against communism, 501c.
Hello and welcome back. In our final portion of our talks today, we'll discuss the theme in the book and the movie. First off, Doctor, Professor, please tell us how you describe the theme of the film To Live.
Of course, Wolf. I believe that To Live teaches the audience that through unfortunate situations, one can always find happiness within their family. Even though there are sad scenes, To Live focuses on how family can lighten the mood in any dark situation.
Maybe we're discussing two different things. I wrote a story about the perseverance it takes to survive in an unforgiving climate. While family is an important aspect of the plot in the book, as an author, I tried to emphasize the inner strength that it takes to survive life's challenges. This is just another way the movie bowdlerized my original idea for the book.
I can see you two are both very passionate about the theme. Doctor, would you like to retort?
Yes, Mr. Hua, I'm very sorry you feel this way about the movie, but I would like to point out that we made sure to highlight other themes from your book. For example, at the end of the movie, we pictured Fugway telling his grandson, "Our family is like a little chicken. When it grows up, it will become a goose, and that'll turn into a sheep, and the sheep will turn into an ox." This shows that animals can be a touchstone for prosperity and wealth in Fugway society.
I appreciate the effort, but I cannot simply ignore the major vicissitudes from my original theme.
Since I don't think these two will ever agree, let's wrap it up here. Thank you, Professor Harrison, and thank you, Mr. Hua, for joining me on Privy Conversation. Thankfully, we've made it through the whole segment without things falling apart. On our next episode, we'll be discussing healthcare reform with New Jersey Senator Cory Booker and a man named Chad that goes by the street name Cloud God. Thank you, everyone, and remember, communism is the worst.